Alright fellas, I'm back inside the Miller-Matic 141. We're going to be looking inside of this thing because the sound of this fan is just unnerving. I'm just afraid it's going to damage other components. Maybe eventually vibrate something loose on the circuit board, I don't know. I just don't like it. I'm going to do something to stiffen this up. I don't know if anyone else has had this problem with Miller before, but I am definitely having it. And this thing cost me over $1,000, so hopefully I can figure this out. It doesn't do it when the box is open. I would imagine maybe that's because pulling air differently. Maybe the thrust on the bearing's different. Sounds good like that. But with the case on, we're vibrating like crazy. So, I'm not sure what that's all about. I think I'm just going to reinforce the fan on this thing. If anyone else has had this problem with Miller, let me know, because I don't know if I'm going to have a welder for very long at this rate. This thing could break down anytime. There's a lot of just flappy circuit board that could just break down on me for no reason, because this thing's just vibrating the whole machine to death. I think I just need to reinforce the fan somehow. I don't know what I'm going to do. Might just be able to prop something behind the motor right there and stiffen it. That'll be my first attempt. I'm just going to shove a wedge behind the motor, see if that stiffens things up any, and that'd be the simplest fix at this point. One thing that I don't like about their cooling design is that they've placed this diode cooling plate at a compatible height with the capacitor. This capacitor is a high current DC capacitor to use for harmonic distortion of current. It enables the machine to put out a higher output. There's something about hooking up DC transformers that limits the amount of power a transformer can put out unless you have this choke or this inductor and this capacitor. The capacitor kind of smooths it out, and this here I think handles the harmonic distortion of current more so than the capacitor. I kind of misspoke a little bit there. It might help it a little bit, but for the most part it's this choke that does that. That's why this thing's in here. This inhibits the change of current. If we didn't have this in here, we'd probably only get half the amperage out of this thing. That's just based on my experimentation with electrolysis, building high current cells. If you don't have an inductor on there, you could have a transformer that would crank out 800 amps AC, then you'd hook it up to an electrolysis machine without a circuit like this, and because of the harmonic distortion of current, you'd only get about 70 amps out of that thing. It was weird until I learned about all this jazz. So there's no top cooling. I mean, the diodes are basically right here, and they're not even getting air blown over them. It's getting real cheap on you here. I'm going to try and put some glue reinforcement with a hot glue stick and see if that stiffens things up any. The main concern is just that I'm going to rattle something loose in this thing that I don't want rattled loose on this circuit board. This circuit board goes and I'm done for. So it's just kind of unnerving. Got all these connections. The switch relay has already went out on me once. Like I couldn't get the thing to turn on. And as you can see, this thing just kind of flopping in the wind here. It's just, I don't like that. So we got to stiffen this crap up. Hey guys, I got 2 glue sticks on this thing. I certainly didn't do a very good job. Just to kind of spread out the support onto a couple of these cooling blades. I completely filled them in just to kind of give it something to grab onto. It was literally being held up by just these couple of little blades, and it was letting that whole thing just kind of rattle. It had 2 stands holding it up. Just these 2 little metal stands. So this ought to help out. I like the sound of the old Forney. But she ain't blowing no air. There's like literally no draft that I can feel. I have a little draft. I don't know what that thing's doing. They won't let me inside. I gotta tear it up to get into it. But don't worry, we will. For now, let's see what we did here. Man, it's amazing the capacitor lasts that long on that thing. Here we go. I took some pliers to the cooling vents, kind of opened them up a little better, had them blowing downward. I think this shim work is going to do. It may break free over time. It sounds a little better, but not much. Just a tad bit better. Just a bit. Not sure. It does sound a tad bit better. Just a little bit. I'll take it. Miller, you suck. I've had to take this thing back once already and it didn't work right out of the box. Kind of freaking me out with Miller. The only thing I do like about Miller is that you can get all the parts at the local welding shops if you need them. So that's one good thing about Miller. They're not all bad. It is a good machine. I love the wire feed on this thing. I don't want to knock them so bad. I think I will buy their product again. Maybe I just got 2 junk models in a row. But they do got a really nice drive mechanism. It's got a good strong motor on it. My Lincoln has a very small motor, so when you're running at low wire speed settings, it's very inconsistent. It doesn't have the power to give you that consistency, especially if your liner starts getting a little dirty on you from flux core and stuff like that. But it's the only complaint I got is the first one right out of the box didn't work, and then this one sounds like hell. And I was worried about my circuit board.